Hi, welcome back. My name is Carson, and this is my space where I ramble about knitting. So thanks for joining, whether you're new here and you happen to stumble upon my space, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome. Excited to have you. Let's get cozy today. So I have a cup of tea that is piping hot. It's so hot, and now I'm getting warm because it's so hot. It's pretty rainy outside today. It's super dark. I hope this lighting's okay, but it kind of feels nice and moody and cozy. So if you haven't figured it out by now, we're talking about fall. I talked about fall in my last video, but it's just gonna be a continuous thing. I think even after fall ends, I'll still be talking about fall. Because I love fall. Like most people, I love fall. So today is not a traditional podcast. I will be talking about fall knitting plans because, spoiler alert, I am almost done with all my whips, so I'm about to have just a fresh, clean palette, and I am so stoked for everything fall. It is still really hot here, and we honestly don't get much fall weather, like maybe 70s, so everything that's practical for me personally. I live in Texas. It's probably more transitional, like between summer and fall, but I have a list of stuff that I've been eyeing. So I'm calling this, like, plan with me, plan for fall, but honestly, some of these patterns are more like dream for fall with me because I know practically I can't make them. I don't have time, but maybe this will give you some inspiration, whether you're looking for inspiration or if you just like to look at stuff like I do. So yeah, I have my handy dandy phone. I'm gonna put this tea down. It is way too hot to drink, but I'm trying. I'm trying. I almost made hot chocolate, but I was like, I've made hot chocolate a few days in a row. It's so good. It's from this past Christmas. It's the listen, if you have a favorite hot chocolate, please let me know. I'm a Swiss Miss kind of gal. Not even milk usually, just straight up Swiss Miss and water, like hot water. That's my go-to. But I also love Starbucks hot chocolate. I'm not a big Starbucks fan, not really just a huge coffee person. Well, I like coffee, but I'm not someone who just goes and gets like all the crazy drinks. I'm a simple gal. I like straight coffee. I do like mochas though, because it's kind of like hot chocolate and coffee. Anyways, Starbucks has one of the best coffees. You can fight me on this. If you feel free to disagree in the comments, or let's debate about it, or if you agree with me, thank you. Their hot chocolate is really good, and maybe it's just the Starbucks that I've been to, but I have a can of someone got me for Christmas of Starbucks hot chocolate mix, and it has some marshmallows in it. It's so good. It's so bad for you, but it's so good. So yeah, I think I drank some yesterday, so I was like, you know what, today we're still gonna be cozy with some tea. So I found some caffeine-free peach lemon tea, and I really want to chill it because it reminds me of summer and it's just still really hot. Anyways, we're trying our best. Thanks for sticking around. This is obviously rambling. I am kind of on a time limit, not a time limit, but my husband's making dinner and I'm so hungry. So the second he pops in and is like, dinner's ready, I'm out. So let's see if we can get through this before it's ready. Because obviously we all got priorities and mine is eating at this point in time. Alrighty, so this is all my fall, things I've been looking at for fall. I will say most of my Ravelry favorites, whenever I was looking back, because that's where I like to view things, is on Ravelry. A lot of it is baby stuff, so I'm not going to do baby stuff today. I think I'm going to wait and do that another time, because I have so many baby patterns that I've been looking at and saving, and I could talk about them all day long. So if you don't know, we are expecting a child in December. It's perfect, well, I say that's perfect sweater weather. We really don't know. Our state is in a... There's a cat outside. Okay. I need to stop sitting by the window. It's getting food. I think that's a neighbor's cat. Anyways, wow, my brain is just again today. I just got off work again. And I'm just rambly, and I'm tired, and I'm hungry. But I'm excited to talk about all these patterns. So I will put pictures of everything and put the names of the pattern and who it's by, and I'll put everything in the description too, so you can easily just like click on it if you see anything you like. Some of these that I have on my list, I do plan to make them, but some of them I definitely don't. Like I said, some of these are dream things that I would like to knit. at some point in my life. So yes, these are all things for me. No baby stuff. But it'll still be fun. It'll be a fun time. So the first category I have is tanks and tees because, you know, like I said, it is still hot here in the fall. So I need tanks and tees, but I plan to make them in like neutral fall colors. So I do have one that I think will probably be one of my next cast-ons. At least my next cast-on for me, because I already have the pattern. It's, ironically, it's called the Summer Days Tank. It's by Bluebird Pine Shop. So I'll put a picture of it here. It is just your basic tank, but what drew me to this one, so first off, let me tell you the specs. It is, I almost said, you know how Ravelry has craft? I almost said it's knitting. Obviously it's knitting. It is fingering weight. It's a fingering weight project. It is a fingering weight tank top. It uses US 3 and US 2 size needles, which is 3.25 millimeters and 2.75 millimeters. So super tiny needles, but you know what? I like that. And honestly, it's not that tiny because I've been knitting some baby stuff that's on much tinier needles. Well, not much, but tinier than that. So I think I can handle this one. And I have yarn. I think I've finally decided what I want to do with this yarn. Ooh, it looks so nice and ochre and moody. So this is Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in this nice, I think it's called ochre actually. Well, let me see, I have the label. Dark ochre. It's called dark ochre. So I love this color. Literally it's the color, well kind of, it's the color of my sweatshirt, it's the color of my bed. Like, I love this color. So I think I'm gonna make it in that because I have 4 skeins of that. It's plenty. I'll probably have leftovers. So yeah, that's one pattern that I'm definitely looking at. And I really like, it's just so simple. And I like simple. This is definitely a staple piece. So, you know, this is an instance where I think you could make a summer pattern work for fall if you live somewhere like me that's just really freaking hot all the time. By like knitting it in a neutral color. Or if you want to go bright for fall, that's fine too. I personally really love neutrals. So that's what I'm gonna do, I think. I think that'll be my first cast on. So yeah, that's my pattern number 1. That's actually something that I think I will. It's a loud car that just went by. Wow. So that was the first thing I think I will actually knit. Okay, the second in this category is another pattern that I have already. It's the Made You Fall Top by Vanessa Fleming of Ocean Knits, I think. So this one I feel like took Instagram by, I don't know, I've seen a bunch of these on Instagram, especially whenever she was testing it. It looks so pretty. And I got this I bought it before I found out I was pregnant, so I was planning on making it anyways. It's in Wool in the Gang Feeling Good yarn. And just, my last video, there's the Cardigan. Wow, so cute. Anyways, in my last video I talked about my sable sweater, which I think I might rip up. And it's in Feeling Good in the Gang, held double. So I don't know how great of an experience that would be to rip up, to like separate it, because this only has 1 strand of it, not 2. But that said, I do have, I think 2 or 3 skeins of Feeling Good in that same color. I think it's called terracotta, that haven't been used at all. So I think I could start off with those and see where I get. And it's it cuts off like pretty short, pretty cropped, and like I'm pregnant and my belly's growing. So I definitely need something that accommodates that, and I think this pattern would actually be pretty good. I think it would work well. It's just super pretty, super dreamy. It reminds me of like a peasant top almost, or like Bridgerton style. I don't know. It's just so pretty, and I've looked at it forever, and I have yarn for it. I think I could do it. So it is Aran weight, US 8 needles, 5mm needles. So yeah, it looks like a fun project. I've seen so many people knit it up, and I'm just ready to do it myself. So that's a possibility. I'm not sure. Because it's in that yarn, like it is pretty warm, I think, just from, which I've only ever used it held double. So I don't know. But I don't know how warm that would be for a t-shirt. I mean, it's a very fancy t-shirt, but I don't know. It might be worth trying though. Okay, so I have one more in this category. It is the Road Tripper tee by Ozetta. I have been looking at this tee forever, And I recently saw someone on Instagram do like a super oversized version, and I fell in love with it. It's like a Hindley. So it is sport weight, and US 4 3.5 millimeter needles, and US 5 3.75 millimeter needles. So still like pretty tiny, but doable. Totally doable. So yeah, this is one that I think I would really, really like if I did it. But yeah, this might be a post baby situation, just because I don't know how oversized I would need to make it, and I don't know if I'd wear it after that with being so oversized. But it's really pretty, and we used to go on lots of road trips, so I've eyed this one for a very long time. I feel like I could even use Barocco Remix Light, maybe. I mean, technically that's a DK, but I could always gauge. See what happened. LOL. Gauge. What is that? What does that even mean? So yeah, that's another one I'm looking at. So now we're moving on to cardigans. I think practically what I should definitely do before sweater is a cardigan, because I've never made myself a cardigan, and I'm always grabbing things to throw on before I leave the house, even though it's super hot outside. For instance, my husband keeps his truck super cold all the time, and so I always grab like a light jacket to throw on while I'm just in the truck. Or if we go out to eat or something, it can get cold, because in Washington no one really had air conditioner, but here we had air conditioner, and whenever we first moved back, it was something to get used to. We were so cold in everyone's house because we were not used to air conditioner. So it is cold inside some places. So I think a cardigan I would actually get a lot of use out of, and I probably would just wear it open, you know? I could button it maybe after baby, but before I would just wear it open. I usually wear all my jackets open anyways, so I don't even have to worry about the stomach situation, like if it would fit over it. I mean, I would definitely make it big because I like baggy stuff. Let's get into it. So this is one that I actually think I will purchase eventually and go for. This is the one that I'm the most excited about right now. I mean, my opinions change all the time, but it's the balloon cardigan by Petite Knit. It's just so oversized and so pretty. Now, she uses lace and fingering to make it a DK. I would just do DK. Just because I feel like mohair can get really expensive if you're like buying double the yarn. It can get expensive. So I think I would just go for straight DK. Maybe Barocco Vintage. That's usually my go-to. So I don't know. We'll see. I need to visit my local yarn store soon. We're actually going on a trip, and I found one yarn store where we'll be at. So maybe I'll look for it there. But so yeah, it's DK. It uses US 6 4.0, I don't know why I can't read today, millimeter needles. And it looks so nice, so casual, yet elegant at the same time. Just your standard cardigan. I love the huge chunky buttons too. It's so pretty, and there's just so many pretty pictures of this, and this is one that I've been stalking for the past week. Like, I've just been going through Ravelry projects and Instagram hashtags, and I've kind of fallen in love with it. I think it's just the perfect basic cardigan. I think I'd wear it a lot. And I think I want to get yarn, because I don't have any sweaters quantity yarn in my stash besides yarn that I'm going to use from old sweaters that I'm going to rip up. And so I have my worsted weight sweater I'm going to rip up, which is kind of like this exact same ochre color. But I think I want the sweater to be in like an oatmeal, excuse me, an oatmeal or a, almost like my ranunculus, like a almond color. I don't know, just something beigey or even like off-white. I really like the brown ones too. I don't know, something that would go with everything. So that's another one on my list. And then a runner-up is the Felix cardigan by Amy Christoffers. And this one is worsted. And that's why I saved this one, because I have the worsted weight yarn from my Gregoria sweater that I'm going to rip up, and I have more of that. So, could potentially use that. But I just know a cardigan, I would want it. Most of my clothes are orange already, so I have orange pants, so I feel like I need something white or cream to wear over that stuff, you know? I could go monochrome, but so that's my one hang up with this one. Like, I have the yarn that I could use for it. I just don't know if I'd want to use that color yarn, because I have so many things that are already orange. I don't know. but I could always make 2 cardigans because I've seen this pattern a lot. So yeah, it's worsted. It's US 10 6mm needles and US 8 5mm needles. So pretty large needles. That is exactly what my ranunculus used, I think. So I'll probably end up really fast. Oof, I do like fast knits. Alrighty. And so third one on my list is the Field Day Cardigan by Ozetta. This is one that I also looked at. It's DK, but I think I could get away with worsted. I don't know. It's also very pretty too, very basic. It's so pretty. I just love looking through all these pictures. So it is DK and it uses US 7 4.5mm needles. So, but I could get Barocco Vintage DK as well. So these are all pretty up for debate. Not debate, just it'll just come down to what I'm feeling the day of when I like actually go to get yarn, you know. So yeah, I love all of these. They're so pretty. I really like everything Ozetta makes, honestly. She's on this list quite a few times. So now we're graduating to the sweater category. So the first one I love. This is the First Sweater by Lizzie Hester. It is a stockinette and brioche. It looks like brioche. Could be wrong, but it looks like brioche on the sleeves, and it's such an elegant, casual design. I love, it just looks so nice. It looks so nice, and I've never done brioche before. I've never done like fisherman's rib or half fisherman's rib, none of those. So I think because you just do it on the sleeves and you do the body and stockinette, it might be a good beginner project for me to get into brioche, because it's not, the whole thing's not in brioche, it's just like parts of it. If it's actually brioche, I don't know. Let's look. Oh, okay, so it's half fisherman's rib. I don't know if that's brioche or not. I don't know. But it's half fisherman's rib. So I could do that and get a break for the body. It's just very pretty. And it is, so it's light fingering and lace weight, which is DK. I would probably again just go for DK. And it uses US 6 4.0mm needles and US 2.5 3.0mm needles. Wow, I can't say that. So it looks very nice. There's not much else I can say about this one. I think the picture speaks for itself. It's so nice and so pretty. And I'm pretty sure this is from Hive Knits. She has a YouTube podcast, and I like listening to that too. So that's a good one. This one, oops. Oh, I just got a random phone call. This one is one that I will not be knitting, I don't think. Definitely not anytime soon. But it's so pretty. I had to share it. It is Into the Wild by Tanya Barley. And it's this very pretty colorwork fox sweater. It's so pretty, and I've been eyeing this one forever. I eyed it last year, or last Christmas. I think it came out around last Christmas. Yeah, published December 2021. And I remember looking at it and I was like, oh. And I remember walking around yarn stores in Washington looking for yarn for this. But I think I ended up doing my Lummy or loom pullover instead. It's so pretty. And I love her sample. It's knit in like a dark gray with white, and the foxes are orange, and then dark gray for the body. I think I'd want to do a brown though. I love this pattern so much. I mean, I just love how it looks. I've never knit it, so I don't know what it's like. But it's DK, and it's US 2.5 3mm needles and US 6 4mm needles. So smaller needles, but it just looks so nice. Maybe next year. Maybe this will be my Christmas sweater next year. Cause it looks like, I don't know, it's DK, so it could work for fall-ish. I don't know. I really want to make it. Okay, so I've talked about this one before, but this one is the Kutar by Sari Nordland. It is so pretty. I'm pretty sure this is, so it's lace fingering DK. I would probably again just go for DK, but I do love the halo of the mohair on all the samples and stuff. And this is using US 2.5 3.0mm needles and US 3.25mm needles. So small needles, and it's this lacework yoke, which I love. The only lacework yoke I've ever done is the ranunculus that I just finished. Spoiler. So it's just so elegant, so pretty. someone commented on one of my other videos because I mentioned I really wanted to do this one, and she was like, it's so pretty, but it's so hard. So I don't know. This was one that I could see myself working on for months and months and months. So yeah, it's just very, very, very pretty. And I want to make it one day. I'm not sure if that'll be this year. I don't know. I love everything Sari Nordland. I'm sorry. Nordland makes. She's amazing. She's a great designer. Okay, so last on the sweater list is the September sweater by Petite Nets, because it's about to be September. September is fall, yes, you know? So, and this one is brioche. Yeah, so this one is brioche. And like I said, I've never done brioche before, and I kind of want to try it. I don't know if it'll make me cry or not. I know some people have love-hate relationships with brioche. At least I've heard them talk about it. I don't know, but it looks so nice and just so squishy and comfy. So this is worsted weight. Ooh, I have my worsted weight Barocco vintage and like this ochre color. Oh, I can make that with this. That might be what gets cast on with that yarn that I rip up. Okay, so it's worsted and it uses US 8 5mm needles, US 7 4.5mm needles, and US 4 3.5mm needles. I might have to try this one. This was kind of like a dreamy one. I was like, oh, this is pretty, I'll add it. But now that I'm looking at it, I have the yarn that I could use for it. And like I said, it's just so squishy, so pretty. Okay, now this is, I saw this, I was like, wow, that's expensive. So she uses lace, plus lace, plus lace. 3 strands of mohair. And I'm like, wow, that sounds really expensive to me. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of mohair, but I've knit with some really good mohair for socks for my grandma. But other than that, I've knit with like Hobby or Hobie Diablo, and it wasn't my favorite. So maybe I just need a better, wow, I feel like it's so dark and moody in here. Let me try something real quick. Okay, I'm glad I paused because my cart was full. Anyways, we are back. Maybe I'll try to take a sip of my tea. Let's see how hot this is. So my friend got me this mug. It has letters on it, and it's actually, oh come on, yeah, it's actually from Spin Cycle Fibers. So we used to live in Bellingham, that's where my friend lives, and Spin Cycle is based in Bellingham. And I've never bought Spin Cycle before ever, but as soon as we moved, they opened up a storefront. And I was like, wow. I need to go back and visit. Actually, so there were so many good yarn stores there. Northwest Yarns. They expanded into a bigger space and they started a mercantile, so they have fabric now, and they also have a coffee shop inside, so it's like a knitting space hangout. And this was after we moved as well, and then now I just found out that one of my favorite yarn stores, Apple Yarns, is expanding as well, and they have a new space. It's amazing for all these yarn stores, but I'm like, I need to go back and just do a trip for visiting yarn stores and of course friends. Anyways, what was I talking about? Okay, so she uses 3 strands of lace held together. I think maybe I just need a better mohair experience, but it's just, like, the good stuff is really expensive and you have to buy more of it to hold it together, and I don't know, maybe one day I'll splurge on like a super nice fancy, you know, mohair sweater, but that's just it's a lot of money. So. This is really good. This is great temp. Great temp. Okay, so yeah, but I would definitely do it in just a worsted weight. It's just so pretty. So squishy. Okay, I'll stop looking at it. I feel like I'm just on my phone this whole episode. I'm looking at pictures. So the last category is socks. Now, we all know how I am about socks. If you're new here, I am a 1 sock knitter and then I'm done. That said though, I'm breaking the habit. I have made 3 pairs of complete socks. 2 were for my grandma, my Nana, and 1 was for my unborn child, which those were super tiny. But I have done it before. It's just for myself. I knit 1 and then I think I just look at something else and I get distracted and then whatever. But I'm knitting my summer flower socks right now and I'm doing the 2nd. So that's a start. So maybe I'm breaking my cycle, my toxic sock cycle of 1 sock. But I did put some socks on here because some days I just get really into the idea of knitting socks. We'll see. Maybe this will be the fall of socks. the fall of socks. I don't know. Honestly, it would be amazing if I could get into socks because, like, I was having a really hard time finding garments that I was excited about because of my growing body. And I like my body. I think it's really cool what's happening, but, like, I don't know my measurements as well anymore. I'm, like, hesitant to cast stuff on because I'm like, I'm gonna grow in a few, like, I grow every day. So I don't know. So if I got into socks, I could literally just knit socks for myself and then baby stuff, and that would be fine. So the first ones that I put on here are the Magic Toadstool socks, and I really have been wanting to knit these up forever. They are by Stone Knits, and yeah, they use sock yarn, fingering weight, US 0, 2 millimeters, US 1, 2.25 millimeters, and US 1.5, 2.5 millimeters. And guess what? Since I got the Chiagu set secondhand, I got all those on me. I don't have to go buy random tiny needles. Wow, I'm getting really excited about these socks. So they have little mushrooms on them, and I love mushrooms. I love mushrooms. We used to love foraging for mushrooms in Washington. Some are growing around our house, and we looked at them and we're like, can we eat those? We don't, because I'd get scared if I don't know for sure. I have a really old mushroom book, like a reference guide that I love. It has these very pretty illustrations in it. I like taking pictures with it too because it's just like the pictures of the illustrations because they're so pretty. But I would take that around Washington. We'd go drive in the mountains and I'd try to identify mushrooms given its illustrations and like from the 70s. So I only trust people that go, we know what chanterelles look like. We know what chanterelles look like. We know what morels look like. But the other stuff I'm not so confident about. So unless someone's with me who's like an expert, I'm not gonna eat a random mushroom. Especially not in my yard in Texas. My husband saw he found chanterelles though the other day. So, I don't know. Okay, these have mushrooms on them and they're just so cute. And I actually have all the colors to make this, and so I think I should just buy and make it. Because so I love looking at all the different colors that are on the project page. But the one color combo I truly love is cream for the heel and the toe. Like ochre, this color, kinda. I think that's what I have. For the sock body, and then of course red for the mushrooms and stuff. And I'll put a picture of the Instagram photo that I'm obsessed with, and I'll put the Instagram handle here too. Because those are the colors I have. And she did them in those, and I was like, oh my god. Like, yes, I need to do it now. And I have all the colors. You know, I have a ton of tenderfoot that I stocked up. I've actually been using that to make the teeny tiny mushrooms. I've only made one so far, but there's a lot of other yarn I can make the stuffed mushrooms out of, so I think I should just do it and cast them on. So, yeah, this is gonna be a cast on for sure. For sure, this is the fall of socks. Okay, so the next one I think is also really realistic for me too. It's the Sunday socks by Petite Knit. So these are, ooh, it says Aran weight, but I kind of thought it was a worsted weight pattern. US 6 4.0 millimeter needles. So they're these ribbed socks, chunkier socks, bigger weight of yarn. It looks like a quicker project than fingering weight socks, which I think could motivate me to knit 2 complete socks. And they just look really cozy. These are definitely look like more home socks, but I need some of those. I need some home socks. My feet get really cold sometimes, and I just think I would benefit from these socks. They're so pretty. Okay, we're moving on. I could talk about these all day. Oh, okay, then the very last thing I have is just the sock collection by Ozetta. So these have, I love all of her socks. So I actually have knit the camp socks, I think. Those are the ones I knit for my grandma. They're worsted weight using, what did I use? Maybe they're bulkier? I think she uses Let Lopi and like a strand of mohair. What I used was Barocco Vintage worsted weight and a strand of mohair. And they're on, let's see, US 5 needles, so it's a tighter gauge for all that yarn. So yeah, I would say it knits up worsted, I guess. Maybe technically it's bulky, but that's the one I knit for my Nana. I've knit her 2 pairs of those. So one of those I used, like I said, Barocco Vintage and a mohair, a nice mohair, and it was just the softest thing ever, and she really likes those. And then, oops, I thought something was falling. And then for the second pair, I just did a worsted weight acrylic sock yarn that was variegated that I found. I don't remember what brand that was, just for my Nana, so she can, you know, they can be machine washable for her, and she really likes them. And I've made myself one of the camp sock, not the second one yet. Maybe I should finish that one first. I don't know. It doesn't sound realistic for me. We'll just cast on a new pair. But the ones I'm really interested in this set, so it comes with her comfort socks, her woodsy socks, her camp socks, and her lodge socks. I think the ones that I'm most interested in are the woodsy socks, and that's the only one that doesn't have a singlet pattern. It comes with all of them, but I mean, it could be really fun to have all of them. So the woodsy ones, I think these are the woodsy ones. They have a cool contrast, like, edge under the cuff. I'll post a picture of them all here, but it just looks so nice and so woodsy, and I just really like them. So yeah, I think it might be worth it to get that whole set. So you would have 4 different patterns. I would have 4 different patterns. And so yeah, it's just a different variation of each. I'm so sorry, it's getting really dark in here. Maybe it just adds to the fall mood. I don't know. But that was our last one. So that's all I'm dreaming about right now. I dream about lots of things, and I constantly add to my Ravelry favorites. But you know what, today that's what I had. That's what I rounded up. Maybe it gave you some inspiration too, or maybe it gave you some mojo to cast on something new or finish what you've started. You know, however this served you, I hope you enjoyed it. That's what I'm trying to say. So thank you so much for sticking around. As always, you are very nice people. So yeah, it's just such a cool community, and hopefully I can have more of these little planning videos, because I love stockpiling Ravelry favorites and stuff. Like, I have so many favorites in my Ravelry page, and I honestly forget about them sometimes, and I go back and I'm like, oh, I forgot that existed. So yeah, I hope you found maybe something cool in here. Anyways, thanks for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed this cozy episode. Now my tea is cold, but this is probably better for the occasion. Alrighty, well, thanks for sticking around, and I guess I'll see you next time.